Welcome to another episode of my Motortown playthrough. Today we are back in Medium, and this is because we are also on a new update and they have moved a few things around. So this is 0.7.6 plus T2, and both the Jemusi Semi truck and the new dump trailer have been moved out of Gwangjin over here and up into Medium. So that's now a bit easier to reach and should also be easier to find. And yeah, besides all of that, we now also have a new trailer. So this is another short trailer, a logging version as you can see. And yeah, I have actually bought my own Jemusi Semi to really test out its capabilities and see what it can do. From what I've heard in the Discord, it seemed like this thing was underperforming and quite significantly. So today we will put it to the test at least a little bit and also talk about the entire situation. There have also been a few notable bug fixes. First up, with the Eastwood trailer, we should now be able to double stack regular logs again, which is nice. And something that I've been fighting for a while in box cars and trailers, so any enclosed cargo space, we can now also strap the cargo back down again. Something that I reported a few weeks ago, and it's finally gotten the attention that it needed, and not from people telling me that this wasn't needed to begin with. It's a nice feature for certain playstyles, and I'm glad to have it back. It's gonna make a few things a bit more convenient, so really happy about that. And yeah, without further ado, let's you know what, let's take a look at the trailers first, because I've actually noticed a few things, which is also why I have this little setup over here. Because honestly, and that's already something that I just saw with the dump trailer, and some of it is on the new logging trailer as well. The models aren't perfect. There are a few small issues, and I would like to show them to you guys. First up, the stuff that's present on both of the trailers, and then the things that are dump trailer specific. First up, on the landing gear, there should really be some top texture. You can only see it on the dump truck if you raise it, and oh, I can even... Can I see through that, or what is that there? Now that's just a weird reflection, never mind. But yeah, there should be a top texture here, because otherwise you can see through the entire thing, and the rest of the stuff doesn't really render either, that should be inside there. And that's also on this one right here. They seem to be sharing a lot of the same chassis, which kind of makes sense. Second thing, this flimsy connection bit. We have fully modeled beams over here, like I-beams and that kind of stuff, but for some reason they get narrowed down before they reach the plate up front, where we can also find the fifth wheel connection point. And it's just these two flimsy little metal planks that are holding the stuff together. I think it's even worse on this trailer here if you look at it. I mean, once you see it, you cannot really unsee it. So I hope that gets changed rather soon. But those are the things that are available, on, or not available, but actually present on both trailers. The third thing that I noticed, especially once you put the cargo bed up, the little control box over here is actually floating. So that's a bit weird. And also there is no real mechanism to actually raise the cargo bed with. It's just something that you can do in the control panel over here. That's how you can raise and lower the entire thing as per usual, and I mean that makes sense. But there isn't really any piston or something that would really bring it up or down. From what I heard from one of the moderators, it's basically to do with this being a very complex system that they would have to implement. And I get that adding a realistically looking and functioning system for that, it's not just a single piston or something. You would actually also need to be able to move it back and forth down here, because otherwise if you extend the entire thing and then put it back together, it wouldn't really fit if it was in a fixed position down here at the connection point. So it would kind of need to be multiple things, and that would be a rather complex mechanism. So right now we decided to not put it in. Maybe we can get that later on. It's more of a minor detail, but yeah, I think it will come together a bit better if it actually had everything modeled. And the last thing, and that's also something that I can show you guys on this one here, that has the cargo bed down. Parts of the lower structure of the cargo bed are actually clipping through some of the other parts. So that's something that you, of course, do not have at the plate right here. But you can see over here the yellow part that just goes right through the plate. Yeah, that shouldn't be happening. So these models are a bit weak, and I hope they find the time to adjust them, to make them better, and yeah, get rid of little optical issues with them. However, overall, I think they should be working fine. From what I've seen, the dump trailer over here also got its weight reduced to help get it up to the coal mine potentially, but I'm not entirely sure if that's gonna work. Let's get the new logging trailer and let's bring it up to the oak logging location to get a few more logs with it. Maybe I should actually bring it over to the regular logging area and see if we can actually put some of those onto this one as well. Just to see if this is actually multifunctional. Also, one thing I noticed with Jemusi, it's very twitchy. Like once it starts going, it gets really oversteery, like this here. And I may have to show you guys that without the trailer, because when, I mean, just this, did you see how much it just swung out on me? That's not anything to do with the trailer, it just drives like that. It's really weird. So gotta be careful, but I'm most likely going to spin it out a few times. One thing I really want to talk about this time around has to do with just the Jemusi trailer and why, or the Jemusi Semi I mean, and why it's so much weaker than the other Jemusi variants. And why that may be something that is kind of how the entire thing would be going. Jesus. So, the thing is, when it comes to climbing, rigid trunks have some inherent advantages. First up, they kind of have all the load just on top of wheels that are driving the entire thing. And that's obviously a huge advantage because when it comes to friction, that's always directly proportional to the weight on top of whatever surface is scratching on another surface, in this case the wheels on the dirt. There are a few other factors here with loose dirt and all of that, so that's not one-to-one and has also something to do with tire profile and all of that. But additional weight, unless it's completely bogging down the vehicle, is actually a good thing here. So with the trailer, not only do you have suddenly a few not driven wheels, which are also going to carry at least part of the weight. In this case, it looks like it would be pretty much 50-50 on the two rear axles of the Jemusi, and the rest would be on the trailer itself. But there are also a few other factors. First up, compared to other semi-trucks, the Jemusi has an inherent disadvantage by being medium duty. I think the strongest engine, and I can quickly look that up, 330 horsepower plus the turbo. Other semi-trucks have the option to equip an engine that has 540 horsepower. So that's like 210 horsepower more than this one. And also just by being a semi-truck with a fifth wheel, I mean, it can do a lot of articulation when it comes to going side by side or something, so horizontal articulation is no problem at all, but vertical is quite limited, and that's gonna bite you in the back if you try to go up or down certain inclines, so that is a problem and another inherent disadvantage and limitation. So that's a lot of things that can really slow down the vehicle, and despite it having all the lockable differentials and everything, it's kind of not really working out that well. So what I think it comes down to is that at the end of the day, just by being a semi-truck, the Jemusi Semi is more of a semi than actually a Jemusi. So the other Jemusis being, of course, amazing off-roaders. And this one in the end turns out to be more of a semi-truck than anything else. And yeah, people have been suggesting a lot of solutions to this, like off-road tires and all of that. But I guess with how much of a disadvantage this form factor is, you're not really gonna get that far with it. Okay, we can actually double stack the entire thing, but I don't think I wanna go with that. I'm just gonna go up the other trail and let's go get some oak logs. Because this is something that I've been a bit more excited about. Just seeing if I can actually get a few more logs with this thing than the regular Jemusi. Doing that, all that work for only 2 sets of logs always felt a bit weird. So doing the same work for 4, even though this might be a bit more tedious, I think that's gonna be a worthwhile trade-off. And I think I'm gonna go with 6 low locked right away. And yeah, right now it seems to be going, but the huge inclines are something that we will have to see in a moment. I might also try this out with the Eastwood trailer, see if maybe this could be my sole truck for doing anything inside here. So maybe I can then use my Titan for something else. But I'll have to see about it. The Jemusis are still suffering from that weird bug that I showed off the last time. And this one is particularly jumpy, it seems. But I've also heard word from Mr. Wang personally that we might get a fix to this entire situation soon. He may have identified the bug that is causing the issue and may have already resolved it in one of the internal testing branches. So that would be really appreciated. And from what I've seen with my testing, it may be something that's not only exclusive to the Jemusis, but actually a general bug with how physics behaves with tires. I always thought it was the suspension, but yeah, tires make just as much sense here. So that could actually make a few vehicles a bit better to drive, so looking forward to that. But yeah, this thing is twitchy. I lowered the Jemusi as I did with all of the others. The trailer assessor is of course still stock. But yeah, this thing is feeling really weird to drive. Maybe I should have gone with higher suspension and all of that. But I feel like some of the stuff might be unrelated. Otherwise we still have stock spring strength, so it's not even that hard. But yeah, when it comes back to the Jemusi again, one thing they have added now is a winch. This is actually an, I think, 8-ton medium duty winch, which is quite nice. And that will definitely help out with some of the stuff, but I think in the end it's likely not going to be a fix. It might help out getting up some stuff that you otherwise would be stuck on. And yeah, you can equip a winch to any of the Jemusi variants now, which is nice. But yeah, I think if at the end of the day, it might be better to just mostly treat the Jemusi as a entry-level semi-truck. I mean, right now going up and around here, it's actually doing pretty well. So there might be a bit more to it, but yeah, I think just trying to make it as good as it would need to be in order to do stuff with a coal mine on a regular basis without relying on the winch all the time. It would be a weird fix that would kinda just be unrealistic. You can of course still use the Jemusi dump for that, but also the regular dumpy is working. I've done a few trips now which allowed me to even get enough money to buy this thing. So that's all working. But overall, while I'm going to give it another try at the, or at least one try for myself at the coal mine, seeing if I can make it up there. From what I've seen with other people, it doesn't seem to be doable at all unless you use a Weka in conjunction, or maybe now with a winch. But really, I don't think I would be doing any type of job in the long run if it requires constant winching in order to get the job done, get to the destination. I think that's a bit much. And yeah, fully jackknifed it because of course I did. I might actually have to reverse here. Also, I'm running low on fuel. This thing seems to just chuck a lot of fuel down. So gotta be careful about that, but I think we should be able to make it back down. I don't expect this would be working too well with shortcuts. So it might be finally time to take the legit way down, but hey, at least it's for twice the amount of logs than before. With a regular Jemusi, just going for a quarter load of the one Eastwood trailer's capacity, it felt a bit low. So I'm quite happy that they doubled that up now with this trailer here. Otherwise I might have just given this the skip in the long run. The whole oak logging area is fun, but it's not that fun that often, I think. At least not for me. So, but yeah, it seems like the Jemusi is now earning its place. With the first introduction of it, I think, was it yesterday even just? With the T1 version of the new update. Yeah, that felt like a bit of a miss, but now it seems to actually do something pretty amazing right here. Otherwise, I would have been alright with it being just maybe another possible entry level option for semi-trucking. After all, it's cheaper than all the other ones, but then again, it comes with a level requirement of trucking 20, or just cargo transportation. And that is right in the middle between the FL1 and the Titan. So I think at that point that's not really entry level anymore. But if it can do the way back, then I think we have something really good on our hands. So let's see. Another thing I want to talk about regarding this whole situation is kind of just the idea of adding things with purpose in mind. From what I know and what Scaleman shared with me is that basically how this entire thing was conceived was just somebody showing a picture of a real life version and saying we need this. And at that point, without any further reason given, it's basically not like we really get a reason for it, like a real purpose. So we don't need it because we have that one particular job that requires this, and it would be much better if we had it. But it's more like it exists in real life, it's kind of cool, and we already have similar things, so maybe we should have it as well. And overall, there's definitely nothing wrong with adding something for variety. That can already be a reason, but I think it's still needs something that you need to be aware of, just knowing for what reason you put something into the game, because at that point you can really avoid a lot of confusion. Because realistically, this truck will never be as good as the rigid Jemusis. It will always be more of a semi than a Jemusi, despite having all the nice little off-road features. It's just not gonna be that. And maybe if I knew that already and didn't put it up for purchase in one of those really difficult off-roading areas, maybe people wouldn't have tried to use it for that and then decided that it's pretty much useless. It still has a lot of uses, even if it couldn't do this stuff right here, which evidently it can do, so yeah, pretty good for that. But yeah, it's struggling. Despite being fully upgraded and everything, it's trying its best, and I can't see anything with those stupid leaves in the way. Yeah, I might be in a bit of a pickle here. Ah, managed to unscrew myself. That's not something that happens every day. But yeah, apparently this thing can do quite a lot of things after all. Didn't seem like that after the first version of the update. But yeah, I think in the end, when it comes to this entire truck, the first version definitely showed a bit of mismanaged expectation, both internally and then also, yeah, when everybody got access to the truck, everybody thought they could be doing much more with it than really was the case. But as long as it can be used for this stuff here, I think we are good. Still not being able to get the empty dump truck up the coal mine trail. That's a bit of a yikes. I'm definitely gonna have to try that for myself. Yeah, that was another weird jump there. Did you see that how it just got airborne with the trailer? Okay, gonna be very careful here, and I hope it straightens out in the back. Yeah, that worked out pretty well. I was a bit afraid I would drag the rear too close to the right and it wouldn't get onto the little planky things there. But I guess the next thing I need to do here is buy myself a trailer and try to make it work a bit better. It seems to be really weird with how it behaves. Maybe I can also improve my Jemusi as well. Might need some other springs or maybe just adding a bit more ride height to it again. Yeah, it's doing stuff. And even if I don't need the winch, it's definitely given me a bit of confidence with my actions right here, because I could at least use it to help myself out again if stuff doesn't work. Also, since I now have a trailer attached, let me show you guys the new control panel for trailers. So I can now just go up by one, and then we can switch over to the trailer and do stuff with that. Doesn't really work when I'm steering, but yeah. That's how I can deal with that from inside my tractor, which is just a nice little feature. Still, one thing that I would really also like to mention at this point, while the updates have been pretty good in the past, some of the stuff here right now, it may feel a bit rushed, but overall, I really wish that in the future we might just get an update or two that's just about housekeeping. So nothing crazy to be added, maybe some minor tweaks to the world and some more regular cars or something, but mainly some bug fixes, quality of life feature implementations, and that kind of deal. Because right now, especially when it comes to the bugs, there are a lot of them, there's quite the backlog, and I think the game would be overall much nicer to play if some of that got sorted out. Just in general, it's something that I noticed with games like Railroads Online and stuff like that in a similar vein. It's just, even with the amount of bug fixing that's done with every update here, it still seems like a lot of things are halfway finished, and just finishing that up would really just improve the perceived quality. So some of the little model problems that I talked about earlier. There's also stuff like the Enfo GT mirrors, and also apparently a lot of other side mirrors don't really line up with their casing. That should be dealt with. And maybe also, instead of constantly expanding, it would be really nice if some of the existing older jobs gotten once over. Like additions to different kinds of jobs to make them feel a bit more in depth. And oh, Jesus Christ, the brakes didn't really want to go there. I don't think this is a good idea. I'm basically just keeping upright because I'm jackknifed. Otherwise that trailer would be on its side. But yeah, once we get the whole tire bug fix, the physics thing that I've been talking about earlier, that would already be a nice thing as well, and that would bring us further. But right now, some of the stuff feels like it's being done a bit too fast to keep people engaged and get new ones. Just keeping the player base expanding and all of that. But I think part of that, to keep people to stay, would also be not just new content, but also really doing the bug fixes. And with how many new things are being added, there's obviously only so much that you can do on the side there. After all, from what I know, at least when it comes to the models, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done by Mr. Hwang himself. If you only get the model, that would basically be just a prop or something. You need to still do a lot of programming, give it a handling, give it some different other properties to make things work. And I expected that would come sooner or later. So yeah, now that thing is disconnected. I think I used to be able to exit out of the... well, that worked for a while there. Okay, I don't think this is gonna get better through this. Oh, Jesus Christ. I might actually have to use the winch now and put it back onto its wheels, hope that it stays there. But this is a bit of a predicament. And I'm sliding down the mountain. Yeah, nothing I can do here. Can I at least tow myself back up? Oh, perfect. I'm further up on top than I was before. So let's see if we can seesaw that thing back onto its wheels. I'm not entirely certain, but here goes nothing. That's not reassuring. Okay, maybe with a bit of run up. This is definitely an ultra safe thing to do here. Okay, I actually need to go in 6L mode in order to do anything here. Boop! Come on! Almost. Maybe if I just give it a bit more slack and get at least onto the even bit up there, I think that might be working out better. Huh? Okay, we got back on the wheels. It's apparently staying there. I don't know if I can hook it from here, but I shall try. But yeah, what I meant to say is that making the models is definitely a huge amount of work. Quite a bit goes into that and all of that, but at the end of the day, if you get only the models and don't do anything with them, you can basically not use them for anything apart from decoration. Oh, Jesus. Shit, man, brake. And I couldn't get the stupid landing gear. Oh, come on, please go back on the wheels. Oh, I did get the load and whatever the stupid thing there. Okay, we are back on our wheels and we are somewhere in the forest, which is not even that bad of a deal. Because there is a road down there, I just need to reach it. So my idea would basically be to just have an update where the new content doesn't really need all that much work for Mr. Wang and still have some other people do their stuff. After all, even if we told Betty to stop adding so much great stuff with scenery and everything, that wouldn't mean that she could maybe assist with other stuff as well. From what I'm aware, the people there have their certain roles and they are pretty good at that, but a lot of it in the end has to go through Mr. Wang to be implemented into the game. Don't know if that's true for the terrain stuff, but definitely for vehicles, and if the terrain has some new shops and all of that, I think there's also still the need for Mr. Wang to have a hand in it and add the supply chain and everything. But yeah, ideally I wish we could just get a few updates that maybe just get rid of some bugs and then also focus on refining the already existing jobs. Bus is in bad condition again. Also low fuel warning. I mean, yeah, alright, gotta take care of that, I guess. But yeah, the Jemusi Semi is definitely working out a lot better right now than I expected. I also kind of felt bad talking so much about it, just from having heard about this stuff and not having dealt with it myself. That's something that I try to avoid, and I really just went off the stuff that other people said, and yeah, in the end I came to the conclusion that it would be better off... Oh god, that was a bit spicy. Better off just being treated as more of an entry-level semi. But with its performance right here today, it definitely redeemed itself. I still do the attempt at bringing it up to the coal mines, seeing what other people were talking about regarding that. But then again, some things may have changed already that make this a lot more viable, so I don't know. This would also be some point where it would be really helpful just getting a sandbox mode. I'd definitely be more open to trying out everything in an update before coming to some conclusions. If I could really just get my hands on it without having to spend hundreds of thousands in the game, because I may not have that money at the time. So it's always a bit of a double-edged sword with this kind of thing. I don't want to give you guys inaccurate reports on anything, but in the end, if I cannot test it for myself, I'll have to go off what the community says, and a lot of people have been pointing out the problems of the vehicle. They kinda make sense, that it wouldn't be as good as the other Jemusis, so yeah. What's now really up with the coal mine and the dump trailer is what I'm going to find out after this video. And I might also take you guys along for the ride. Guess I'm back to making videos again already. I was planning on taking a break, but I might have to wait now. And yeah, there's still a few other things that should be coming out for this update before it hits the main branch, like the drone and everything. So we're gonna have to find out about that. 33k for all of this. I didn't even damage the logs despite everything. But yeah, this has been working out, and yeah, I might teleport it over to a gas station and then try to see how it behaves with a fully loaded Eastwood trailer, and then bring it over to the other area, see how that all works out. But some of it is something that we'll likely see in the next episode. I would now also have just about enough money to get myself logging trailer, but I think I'm gonna still wait a bit for that. Anyways, that's gonna be it from my end for this video. Thanks for watching. Let me know all your thoughts about the stuff that I talked about today, and as always, have a good one. See you guys next time. Bye bye.